As far as the landlord, is the landlord allowed to collect a rent while the property is in foreclosure?
Landlord still owns the property, so he absolutely has a right to collect the rent. Landlord should be putting it toward the mortgage, but as you and I probably both know, that doesn't happen a lot. They put the money in their pocket because if it's an investment property, they need to deal with and offset some of their exposure. But if you're my landlord, I'm your tenant, if I don't pay you the rent I'm supposed to, even if you're in foreclosure, you have an absolute right to evict me.
You hear a lot of people like marketing for foreclosure, like on radio or something like that. I mean, most of the people that are coming through your door are there because they just got served and they know they have been paying, or are they coming in because, prior to being served?
Most of them come in after service. I have a few that understand they are behind. They've tried to figure out a resolution. They can't. That's when they come to me. I had one client come to me about a week ago. Now, I don't advertise. I don't send out flyers if somebody goes into foreclosure. You can figure out who's in foreclosure by seeing little notices of list pendants recorded in public records. And if, anybody ever get a traffic ticket? You know how many mailers you get from lawyers out from the defendant? It's become that way before foreclosure. So I specifically asked the client, can you bring in what you've got? I'm just curious what's out. Brought 35 different types of flyers and letters. My partner had actually asked me about advertising that way and doing it, and I showed him and I said, why? We're just going to get lost. It just makes no sense. So
you're finding once they've been served,
once they've been served, everybody knows who's who's in foreclosure. I try to get, just tell my clients if I know they're having problems, just deal with it pre-foreclosure. I know I'm about out of time, but let me really briefly hit on a couple of what I think are key points. And I've got a small office, and you all are going to be out there dealing with clients in a few years. Client relations are what builds practice. Our business is a service business, and our stock and trade is what's in our heads. Our time and our knowledge are all we have to offer our clients and the public. We don't give away for free what we can charge for. It sounds kind of cold and corny, but it's true. But at the same time, you need to know when to give a client something for free in the name of a client relationship. Fortunately, in our practice, most of what we have, our clients and our business, is repeat business from clients and client referrals. I had 3 client referrals, or people call me this morning on client referrals, just because of the way we deal with our clients. We meet with them, we understand what their expectations are, we don't sugarcoat what the information is. If it's bad, we're honest, we tell them, and they appreciate that because they know what to expect. We won't sugarcoat and tell them, oh, hey guys, it's going to be a great outcome, and then they get stand in court. We want our clients to understand that, and they appreciate that. At the start of any new client relationship, one thing that you really, is tough as it may be to do, you want to sit down and talk money with your client. Explain to them what your fee arrangement is going to be, what they can expect to pay, what expenses can they expect to pay, how timely are they expected to pay. In our office, if it's a real estate transaction, we make sure our clients know you don't have to pay us anything until closing. If for some reason the closing blows up, you're going to pay us our hourly rate for whatever we've done. But it's very important so your client has an understanding, so when they get the bill, they know that this is what was agreed upon. You also want to make sure you stress to your client, every time you pick the phone up and call you and spend 10 minutes on the phone with you, you're going to bill for the time. You'd really be surprised how many clients get a bill, are surprised that you bill them for talking to them. When I was in law school, I really wish there was a course on how to deal with clients, day-to-day matters, law office management. It wasn't, and I don't know if there's one like that here. Something that would give a practical primer on how to lawyer day to day. And knowing the law and lawyering are 2 different things. Any law student can go through and understand what the law is, but lawyering and dealing with clients is a whole other story. So of course it would be sort of like everything I learned I know now I learned in kindergarten, but from a law school perspective on how do I deal with a client. If I've got clients come through the door and I sit down in the conference room and the hairs on the back of my neck start to stand up, and a little voice in my head says, or the client comes in and says, it's a matter of life or death, or it's a business matter, it's personal. Those are the cases I don't want to take because I can never satisfy that client will have unreasonable expectations. And I'll wrap up really briefly by telling you about the grading scale we use in our office for clients. We try to rate our clients A, B, C, and D. The A and B clients are the ones who pay and generate 80% of your income and take 20% of your time. The C and D clients are the ones who generate 20% of the income when you're pulling teeth to get paid and take up 80% of your time. We focus on the A and B clients. They're the ones that will be the best in the long term, the least trouble, and provide the best referrals. I can't stress enough how important client relationships are. And one other thing that you need to know about is this. This is the client's carte blanche 24/7 to find you. Understand it, live with it, and establish the ground rules. So that your client knows that if they email you or call you at 10 o'clock at night, you're not going to necessarily take the call. But also make sure that they know that if they do call you during the business day, you'll call them back the same day unless it's late in the day and you get to them the next day. It's all about expectations and understanding. If you meet those and come to an agreement with your clients as to what those are, your practice will go a lot better, your clients will be significantly happier. Just communicate, communicate, communicate. Well, I thank you for your time today. If anybody has any other questions about our office staff.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Very good.